Kohalo Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS who teach and rule well. Salutations to you brothers in the highways and byways. Salutations also goes out to you brothers and few sisters that tune in to listen and learn. I'm the brother Malak from the Diligent Soldier Camp here in Boston, Mass. And as always, I pray this lesson be edifying to the elect. The name of this one is U.S. Antibiotic Shortages for Children. U.S. antibiotic shortages for children. Now, actually, this is going to be my second attempt because I guess in the first one, I said a few things or keywords that kicked in the algorithms, and YouTube completely removed my video. I don't think anybody even got to watch it, but you know, I'll do it over as I am doing it now, and I'll try to keep it short and sweet and to the point, and not really try to draw out a vivid picture with connecting dots and all that, because I got carried away. You know, it's just sometimes you get frustrated with you know, your people not seeing the conspiracy, man, you know, or not seeing the connections. So I'll make it short and sweet, man. You know, I have the article here. Again, I'll pull it up and read it. It's from CNN, right? Opinion. It's a section that they have called Opinion. It says, why the U.S. is having shortages of antibiotics now, right? This opinion was by Megan Renee. Dr. Megan Renee is the deputy of dean at the School of Public Health at Brown University and a professor of emergency medicine at the university's Warren Alpert Medical School. The views expressed in this document, in this commentary, are her own. Okay. So for whatever reason, they have it worded out like that before the article. All right. So the article goes on to say, CNN, remember the shortages of personal protective equipment in March 2020? Now it's medication for kids. Around Halloween, some manufacturers began reporting shortages of the liquid pediatric formulations of amoxicillin, an antibiotic used for everything from strep throat to ear infections. Over the last few weeks, shortages of the antibiotic have emerged, particularly for the pediatric formulation. We're also seeing now reports of shortages of Tamiflu, used to prevent hospitalization from the flu, and some formulations of albuterol used to treat asthma and wheezing. Now my healthcare colleagues across the country in the areas ranging from Texas to rural Oregon, from Southern California to my home state of Rhode Island, are reporting that they simply can't afford, or they simply can't find, pediatric versions of multiple common medication. I'm hearing about pharmacists coming in early and staying late to try to get their hands on limited supplies. Some physicians tell me that they are sending patients home with printed versions of several different antibiotic prescriptions, just in case the first one is out of stock. Unfortunately, according to the American Society of Health System Pharmacists website, there is neither a stated reason for nor anticipated resolution of shortages in many of these medications. And I actually clicked the link on American Society of Health System Pharmacists website, and all you see is like a list of medications, right? Drugs that are suffering from shortages. In other words, okay, you don't see no indication of why and what caused it and how they're going to resolve it. That's all it really tells you. It goes on to say, For example, for oral amoxicillin, 3 of the 5 manufacturers did not provide a reason for the shortage. No one refuses to provide availability information. The site said the U.S. Food and Drug Administration and some manufacturers have been appointed to an increase have pointed to an increased demand for amoxicillin due to the number of respiratory illnesses this season. What the heck is going on, and what can we do to fix it? Right? That's what she's asking. But you know, ironically enough, and I'll choose my words correctly, so bear with me. It said here due to the number of respiratory illnesses this season. We know that the juice that a lot of people was taking, last few years, 5 to 6 months later, the side effects have been coming up, right? And I really can't name them, but there's a lot of sudden seizing of life in a lot of people, and record high of flu and other things, other illnesses are coming up. In particular, this RSV that a lot of children suffer from, and then to make matters worse, these medications. There's a shortage on these medications that these children would need. Right? Goes on to say, of course, these shortages are partly due to demand. Our country has seen an unprecedented number of cases of respiratory syncytial virus, known as RSV, and influenza for the first time for this time of year. And these viral illnesses are often complicated by superimposed bacterial infections. You see, it's a very high rate of people, children in particularly, suffering from these illnesses, man. RSV and influenza, which is the flu, right? They've never seen this much at this time of the year. We also know that healthcare providers have a bad habit of prescribing antibiotics when they're not indicated, especially when they're pressed for time, as most are right now. Antibiotics treat specific bacterial infections, but don't do a thing to a virus, and can cause more harm than good when prescribed inappropriately. The program is bigger. The problem is bigger than prescribing practices, and increased demand, though it is also bigger than just pediatric medications. According to the FDA webpage, there are currently more than 120 medications ranging from amoxicillin and albuterol to a non-insulin diabetes medication known as semaglutide, to basic intravenous fluids such as sodium chloride that are unavailable or in short supply in the United States. Okay, goes on to say many of these 120 plus medications are ones that children, says kids here, but I hate using that word. Children depend on for the like of diabetes and attention deficit disorder. As an emergency physician, I also have dealings with shortages of life-saving drugs for seizures, hypoglycemia, and anaphylaxis for months. Okay, a lot of these things, if not everything over here, man, which we'll get into in those scriptures, but a lot of these things, there's basically natural remedies, man. Okay, from fruits, okay, to herbs, but these people don't take no more than an hour or so of nutritional um, class, in their 4 to 7 years of college. You know what I'm saying? They don't get into nothing that has to do with nutritional, information or education, right? So it goes on to say, out of fairness, the FDA has been working on this issue for years. The drug shortage staff was established in 1999, a presidential executive order in 2011 and 2018, interagency task force led to update the expand capacity. Thanks in part to these efforts and new mitigation strategies funded by the 2020 CARES Act. They averted hundreds of drug shortages last year, right? It says, despite the best efforts to address root causes, we still have dysfunctional OPEC, which goes into like non-transparent medical supply chain, right? You only know what they want you to know, basically. There is still no easy way to scale up production to meet excess demand, and there remains a limited profit motive to do better, particularly for low-cost medications such as amoxicillin. And there remains a limited profit motive to do better. This is all about the money, man. Particularly for low-cost medications such as amoxicillin. As I learned all too well when fighting PPE shortages, making medications and medical grade products is difficult, even in the best of times. When an ingredient goes in short supply, Salakia. When an ingredient goes into short supply, when demands increase, either because of real increases in demand or because of perceived need due to media coverage, when workers get sick, or when a single manufacturer goes down, the system falls apart. The system falls apart. Keep that in mind. Let me see if I should read anything else. It says here, when preferred medications aren't available, doctors have to turn to second line or alternative medications, which might be stronger, weaker, or just work in a different way. This swap then causes in its own cascade of problems. Using second line medications puts patient safety at risk. As physicians, nurses, and pharmacists try to calculate dosage on the fly. Antibiotic resistance patterns, second line versions of drugs may be less effective, and these shortages create more work for already overstressed, burnt out pharmacists, physicians, and nurses. All right, and I think I'll leave it at that. Yeah, I'll leave it there. Okay, because the last few things it spoke about, it's pretty evident, man. It says here, what is it? Where did I see it? I mentioned alternative medicines, how they have to go to alternative medications, right? Which is what they call basically holistic or even natural remedies, man. Fruits, herbs, and whatnot, and also other generic and non-brand medications also that they drugs that they also make. And then it says over here, what is it? The swap causes its own cascade of problems. Using second line medications puts patient safety at risk. as physicians, nurses, and pharmacists try to calculate dosage on the fly, right? But it was also mentioning one more thing. Let me see if I find it. Okay, when workers get sick or when a single manufacturer goes down, the system falls apart, right? You know, because these systems is what a lot of our people rely on. Okay, so now let's get into some scriptures, right? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 31 and 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. It's talking about you Jakes, man. All right, you 2/3 minded Jakes, because at least the 1/3 hopeful elect are trusting in what the Lord says. Okay, now I'm by no means saying not to take any type of medications that you've been taking for a while now. Okay, you got to be wise. All right, but I'm more than sure that with prayer and faith and calling on those names, the Lord will let you know, will put it on your spirit on what to do, whether to continue or whether to discontinue some type of so-called medication, okay? Because I am not a doctor, so I can't tell you what to do and what not to do. And the only reason I say that is for algorithm purposes, man. Because we know, us in the know, we know exactly what to do from reading scriptures. So again, Isaiah 31 and 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong, right? You're trusting in the strength of Babylon, whether it be with their government or even army, right? The power that these people yield, because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel. Who's the Holy One of Israel, man? Yahweh Shai. And then it says, neither seek Yahweh. You don't seek the Father or the Son, because you got a lot of our own people that don't even believe in Yahweh Shai. They are very doubtful of Yahweh Shai. You got like Old Testament Israelites, Old Testament only Israelites, and a lot of those guys and women believe only in the Father. They don't believe in the Son, when the scriptures tell you that the Son comes in the volume of the book. So you don't seek Yahweh Shai, neither do you seek the Lord himself, Yahweh, right? So therefore, what do? You go down to Egypt and you trust in in oppression, man, in your enemies, basically. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 39. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. This is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. As Yahweh Shai himself said to a Pilate, man, a fowl does not fall from heaven if his father doesn't sanction it, roughly paraphrasing, man. All issues of death belong to the Lord, man. Belong to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? They were transferred to the Lord, obviously, now, right? Especially after his resurrection. All power was given unto him. But it's at the end of the day, he comes in the spirit of his Father, in the Holy Spirit. So he's going to do the will of his Father, no matter what. And nothing falls, nothing dies without the say so of the Most High, man, and his Son. All right. This is the book of Isaiah. Hold on, let me open up the app because I'm going to read a few scriptures from here. The book of Isaiah, chapter 30, okay? And I'll try to be as brief as possible. It says, chapter 3, verse 1, actually. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. When you go down to Egypt, when you go down to your enemy for help, for the one of all things, right? Well, not so much for the one of all things, because that's a curse that's over us, right? But when you go to to your enemies, man, for man, what's another word I don't want to use so these assholes won't delete my video again. But when you go to them for health issues, man, you're trusting that they have your best interest at heart, right? But the point of the fact of the matter is that a lot of these medicines, so-called drugs, right, or a lot of so-called medicines have very bad side effects, man. Okay, all of them do. Okay, none of them really none of them really promises a cure or nothing, right? It goes on to say, verse 3, actually verse 2, that walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth, right? He reiterated what I was reading here in the book of Isaiah. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 31, actually, but this is chapter 30 that I'm reading now. Salakia, verse 2, that walk to go down to Egypt and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen them, to strengthen themselves to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt, right? Because this is what our people do. They trust in their enemies, man, and what their enemy, the top enemy, says, right? The pharaohs, the so-called presidents, and then all his minions, which goes into the government, right? To the rest of the government, right? But trust the science, this, trust the science, that, right? So basically, the Lord is saying here that, we instead of trusting him, instead of asking him, humbling yourself, praying to the Lord for an answer, you're quick to, you let fear go over you, and you're quick to go to your enemy, man, who put you in the state that you're currently in. Verse 3, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Okay, that word confusion goes into disgrace. So it's going to be a shame and a disgrace unto you, man. Now we jump down to verse 7. It says, for the Egyptians shall help in vain, and to no purpose. Therefore have I cried concerning. Salaki, let me read that again carefully. For the Egyptians shall help in vain, and to no purpose. Okay, in vain and to no purpose, man. You're just not in their best interest. Therefore have I cried concerning this. Their strength is to sit still. Now go write it before them in a table, and note it in a book. What book is that? These holy scriptures, man. That it may be for the time to come forever and ever. And here's the point, that this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. What do the laws of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai say, man? Thou shalt not make a cutting into your flesh. Going into, you ain't supposed to be getting stuck with palisades, man. Go look that up. You're not supposed to be getting stuck with these things, man. To introduce a foreign contaminant, man, a foreign substance into you. You're not supposed to do that, okay? A lot of these things have abominable ingredients in them, and here it is, you over here going to Babylon, to your oppressor for health issues, man, and these devils, all they do is put these low vibrating, abominable payloads inside your system, man. Because that's exactly what that is, man. Them jump shots, man. All right. It says, verse 10, which say to the seers. Now here it is, right? We got the prophets of the Lord are out there warning you about all these things for decades, man. Starting with the apostles on down, man. Me entering into their labor myself for the past few years. I'm warning you of the same things because we all speaking the same exact things. I mean, they warned me about it. I took it for what it was, in faith and in sincerity and through the Spirit of the Lord. And so now I'm speaking the same exact thing. It's just a cycle, a righteous one, right? And Lord's will, I'm kept in that number, man, to endure to the end, man, so we could get the fuck up out of here, man. Goes on to say, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets prophesy not unto us right things, Speak unto us smooth things. Prophesy deceit. Going into your Al Sharptons and your Jesse Jacksons and all these other entertainers that are so-called leaders of the community, man. You know, these are the people set up by our enemies to assure that, wicked ass Jakes would go and trust, right, in the oppression. And so they tell the real prophets, the real men of the Lords, not to prophesy, and they even tell the leaders not to prophesy themselves, which are the smooth things, which are the real things. Which are the real things, but speak smooth things to them, to basically preach deceit, that lies to them. Our people rather live total lies, man, than to know the bitter and sweet truth, and act accordingly, man, to it. We rather get lied to. It says, verse 11, get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel, Yahweh Shai, to cease from before us. Because that's exactly what you're doing when you're choosing lies, man. You're choosing death and Yahweh Shai's life. Verse 12, wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, Yahweh Shai, right? Because ye despise this word and trust in oppression, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall. And what did I read just now in the in the article? When workers get sick or when single manufacturers goes down, the system falls apart. You trust in these systems, right? And it's gonna go down. The Lord makes it go down, as it says here in verse 13. Therefore, this iniquity shall be to you as a breach. You don't wanna trust in the Lord, and you wanna just keep adding sin onto sin by trusting on your oppression and on the oppressor, on your enemy, right? And doing the things that he recommends and tells you to do, which are 99% of the time contrary to the scriptures. It says, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly and at any instant, man. Okay? And that was the whole point of bringing up this scripture here in Isaiah 30, man. The fact that you trusting in this system, and the Lord is destroying it, man. Destroying it. It's the year of the Lord's turn up, man. And look what's going on with the so-called medication of children, man. You know, and this is here right now in Babylon, but this is gonna be a worldwide thing. You know, it's gonna be, the shift that these people lock you, man. That's Satan. The shift that these people are ready to push for us to accept the new beast system, for people to accept the beast system, is going to rock the core of society, a so-called society, or society as we know it here in this planet, man. At this moment, okay, a lot of things are gonna go wrong, man, and you keep trusting in these people, man, when since the earth has been given to them, iniquity has abound more and more, right? And the economy, which goes into basically housekeeping, and the keeping of the house is haywire, man. Look at the debt that Babylon has accumulated, man. Thick debt, man. Thick clay, as the scriptures calls it, man. To the point of no return, man. But that was always the agenda, man. You have to break everything in order to introduce something new. The old system has to be completely done away with for the new system to take place, man. And that's exactly what's going on. And you're going to these people for that. You're trusting in these very people, man. Okay, this is the book of Job chapter 13, verse 4. But ye are forgers of lies. Who are those? Who's the ye? These Edomites, man. Right? So-called white men. The devil that the Bible speaks of, man. Sleazy E. starting with the top tribe, man. The 1948ers, those short hats, man, those big noses, those funky ass 1948ers, who's behind the CDC, BlackRock, man, the list goes on, man. They're all the heads and eternal January. What is it? Man, I forget the attorney generals, I think it's called. All these different positions, these high positions, man. Even the CEOs of these different companies, the ones that we've been hearing for the last couple of years, right, through the demic, that we're gonna that we're gonna produce these juices, right? Even the heads of those companies are all a bunch of Amalekites, man. Okay, it says, but ye are forgers of lies. All of you people are forgers of lies, man. This is why the scriptures call you devils, because you're deceivers, man. Ye are all physicians of no value. You have no value. You call yourself as a physician, a doctor, but you have no value, man. People are still dying to this very day from a bunch of different things, man. This other things that people are dying from by the millions, I think is not dust particles, but basically like pollution. More than 20 million people die yearly, and children die yearly of this, man. And there's not a huge uproar on that. This is not being brought out to the mass media, man, to showcase, right, to zero in on that, to put that in the limelight. But anything that basically benefits them, that's what they put in the limelight, man. There's a bunch of enchantments, man, going around, and which is lies, and people are just falling for it, for all of it, man. But trusting in this, man, is going to be, in the shadow of these people, is going to be your disgrace, man, and your shame. Because someone is right. Someone's telling the truth and someone is lying. And sooner or later, we'll all know what the truth is, man. There's just no way around that, man. Okay? But here in this walk of ours, man, we believe wholeheartedly in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and the things that he has said and that he has set up in this planet, man. The order that he set up this planet in, man. This is the book of Ecclesiastic, is also known as Sirach, chapter 38, verse 4. The Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai has created medicine out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor it. Okay, he that is wise is not going to find it disgusting or gross, right? Or look at it like, I'm good with that. Sour sap itself, you look at that, man, it don't look very appealing to me, I would say. It don't look very appealing to me. But, it has a lot of really good benefits, man. Health benefits of and I'm not gonna say the word, man, but basically it kills cells that are basically really bad for you, man. That causes you to have stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 diseases in your body, but it's a $1 billion industry, man. Or these pharmaceuticals make which pharmacies goes into pharmika, which is the Greek word for witchcraft. So these warlocks and these witches are over here, the heads of all these so-called pharmaceutical companies, man. All they do is make a witchcraft, and none of it really is beneficial, man, to you. I lost my train of thought there, man, and I hope I didn't say anything that'll, kick this damn algorithm. But basically, from the top again, Ecclesiasticus chapter 38, verse 4, the Lord, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, has created medicines out of the earth, man. What are the things that come out of the earth, man? Plants, trees, right? And what do these plants and trees yield, man? Fruits, herbs. This is what he's saying here in the scriptures, man. And he that is wise will not abhor it. He that is wise is not going to look at it like, nah, I'm good with that. But there's no coincidence that these so-called doctors and physicians, man, they only take up to like an hour of nutrition, man, when they're when they're studying, when they're in college. It makes perfect sense. Here it is, you in there 5, 7, 10 years, master, PhD, this, that, and the third, and you don't even consider these things. But then when you go into the ingredients of a lot of these drugs that they make that are out there, a lot of the main ingredients are the things that the Lord is talking about here. Those are the medicines created out of the earth, man. Fruits and veggies and roots. They use these things to make the so-called medicine, man. I'll end it off with this one, man. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 10, verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Because of unrighteous dealings, going into like the different laws and executive orders and mandates. Those are dealings, man. Unrighteous dealings, right? And injuries, because you cause a lot of injuries for people doing these things. And riches got by deceit. All these companies that make these so-called medicines, man. That like I said, man, the pharmaceutical industry is a $1 trillion a year company, man. These people make top dollar, man. Top dollar, man. All right. So and riches got by deceit, because you had to deceive the people, right, and cause injuries. And by those injuries, you because of those injuries, those were the latter end of the dealings, which goes into mandates, man, right? And because of the lack of proper economy or proper housekeeping, the kingdom is translated, the rulership of the world is translated from one people to another, man. From you Edomites, you wicked ass so-called white people, that the Lord gave you the earth, right? As it says in the book of Job, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? So the earth is going to be given back now, translated to the righteous people, man. Yasha Allah, man. You so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Okay, well, so I pray that this lesson was edifying, man, to the elect, because it's all about the elect. All right, and I want to say, call hello, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS who teach and rule well. Salutations to you brothers in the highways and hedges. Salutations to you brothers and sisters tuning in, listening, and learning. Shalom.